And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Blizzard Arena here. We're rounding out our matches for Sunday, and we're rounding out some of our appearances. The last time this season that we're going to see some of these teams, Florida Mayhem, Toronto Defiant, we'll get a very fond send-off for them now as they go head-to-head.
Like Seth mentioned, an El Clasico of sorts here between Toronto and Florida.
No better definition of the phrase.
You send them home. This will be the last game for both these teams for the season. So last time we'll obviously see them this year in the Blizzard Arena.
Exactly. And of course, the Florida Mayhem and for their opponents, the Defiant, maybe we see changes as time goes on. But speaking of time going on, the Florida Mayhem, their rank has significantly increased here over between Stage 3 and Stage 4. A slow start to the season.
It's hard for their rank to go down.
Yeah,
where else was it going to go?
It's almost impossible for that to happen.
It had to go up.
But it has gone up. On the other hand, for the Toronto Defiant, they start really strong in Stage 1, Matt. They get 5 wins in Stage 1, looking dominant. And then, well, it falls apart. Stage 3 was tough for them, and now they're trying to rebuild into 2020.
It's crazy to look at this, and then remember in Stage 1, we were talking about them as like a dark horse team. We were like, they don't want to be presented as like a favorite in a lot of these. It turns out to be true, is that they do not have a good Stage 2, 3. They make a lot of adjustments though coming into Stage 4. A lot of new players in their lineups. Really like seeing Gods and Logic's at it. Mangachu's up.
And now, one last time, we're going to bring the Mayhem here in 2019. Let's bring them out. It is the Florida Mayhem. For this team, sights are set on a lot of work to be done in the off-season and hopefully a bright 2020. They move out to their home market in Florida.
So they have looked much improved since they've worked a lot of the new players into the lineup. I think that's really what it was about. Like, they didn't have a ton of time to practice when they added a lot of these new pieces. Now they've settled on a 6. They really like this. Been playing quite well. For me, Gargoyle is the standout of the new additions thus far.
Play definitely going to be a danger one in this matchup. He's looked really good previously for the Mayhem, including a victory over the London Spitfire. This is a roster that, like we saw on the graph, the graphs don't lie. They have improved over the course of the season and are much wiser, of course, for their trials and tribulations through it. Let's bring out their opponents, though, for one last time, the Toronto Defiant.
Oh, yeah! He's got some hair today.
Is God's about to serve up some justice?
Big boy God's leading to the front. He's got the hairdo going. I like it.
No, what are they going to do now? God's has actually got some follicular activity.
look at Florida.
Yeah.
Look at Florida. They're looking across just like, what's going on? As
he's about to bring the gavel down, Matt.
He has to play like that.
Oh, yeah, no, I think our referees are a bit, more lenient on that kind of stuff lately. Refer to the sunglasses on the Washington Justice.
He took it off. Put it back on.
No, put it back on. Put it on. Yeah, put it back on. Hey, Mr. Referee, let him wear it.
Yep. So that's my ruling here. Is he should be allowed to wear the hair.
This is actually spicy though.
Little rivalry.
Ex-teammates. Logic's kind of gets replaced by Player on the Mayhem. He goes away for a while, essentially plays in our contenders scene. Brought back by Toronto, and he's looking better than ever.
What's funny is this actually could have been the DPS duo that Florida ran into the year with. She would have kind of liked.
How are you going to get Vic out of that roster, man?
They didn't run it a lot last year, but you really liked what you saw from Player and Logic's very good Widowmaker players on both sides. So it'll be a fun matchup to see today. The Widow versus Widow dual rate. See Player sitting up at number 1.
Yeah, stats a little bit skewed because one of these teams has had a very good Stage 4. The other has been middling or average, I'll be honest with you. So that definitely impacts things a little bit there. But when you take raw skill, pound for pound, these two guys are going to be a treat to watch go at it. Here's your map set presented to you by Toyota. It's Busan where we begin this clash.
And then you got Hanamura, Blizzard World, and Route 66 in the series. So no Junkertown sniper shenanigans at the end. You'll have Route 66 instead. You can still see some Widowmaker playing during that, but wonder if we see anything crazy from either of these teams. You got Mangachu over on the side of Toronto Defiant. If you see anything fun, maybe like a Torbjorn in this setup.
He is a lot of fun, that guy. Great giver of hugs as well. Torbjorn would have been nice. He's actually seen it before on some of these Busan maps. It's always a bit risky business, Matt, playing the Widowmaker here. If Player wants to go that direction, needs to be ready for Toronto to try and chase him down.
The doors open up. Saya player will come out on the Widowmaker here.
See where he tries to set up early. Likely, yeah, he's split away from the rest of the Mayhem right now. He's on the causeway, far side of the map.
We used to see Widowmaker on this point, even in like when we had goats. But
see Happy playing up for Guangzhou? That was a crazy match.
You haven't really seen it that much anymore because teams can just kind of huddle around the Orisa barrier, play around the Mei and the Reaper. You don't have to like poke out as much. Not as much space created.
Gods, you feel, is going to try and close on the Saya player as quickly as he can. So grappling hook away, a new angle created. Sees the Reaper drop down. A kill on Gods early would be huge for the Saya player. You need to start seeing some connections pretty soon though, because the Mayhem are -1 on the ground with Saya player perched up here. Good damage on Yakpung. Fate, good follow-up from Fate there, getting rid of Yakpung. Saya player safely away from Gods here, and now he can really start to do damage. The fight breaks down.
It's just a threat of him. He puts some damage on a Gods. Logic's trying to teleport, but gets his head ripped off as Florida will take the point here.
What about getting a coalescence there halfway through the fight? That's an odd one to me.
I could tell you thought that was an odd one with the way you looked at me with your hands just like up in the sky. Like, what was that? A little bit late there. There's some changes coming in though, so you bring in a Widowmaker of your own.
Hey,
you're moving away from the Moira and you're going to Ana. So you have that coalescence, you decide to use it. Also gets Hagapun to use his, so you don't really feel that bad about it.
Now, when you're switching off, you kind of equalize Zold economy between them. They're all different heroes. All right, Blizzard comes in after a nice big old boop. And now, BQB and Fate able to open that one up pretty comfortably. Yakpung struggling here, Matt.
You know, although we were joking a little bit in the pregame. Although Florida, they've had a rough year.
What do you mean? Classico's not a joke, man.
Finishing the year like 6-22, like, okay, it doesn't sound amazing, but with how they've looked in the final stage here, you know, this is the meta kind of going forward in terms of like 2-2-2.
Yeah.
You feel kind of good about their chances, right? An opportunity in the offseason even add more pieces to this team.
But imagine if you could be Atlanta and go 500 and then start to win all your games in stage 4.
Well, also, you know, Atlanta starts off the season better than Florida.
Yeah.
I would say that Atlanta overall is more talented. So I think, you know, when you kind of look across the board, I think with how Florida was and where they are now, it's a huge improvement.
Blizzard, okay, BQB's caught. He's going to get blown up here. Oh, yep, that'll do it. It had to be a Blizzard and self-destruct committed just for that one kill, though. So
they don't have the point.
It's only the second death
yeah.
that the Mayhem have sustained. They are so far ahead here.
Yeah, this has been all Florida on this point.
Logie Band needs to start connected.
You got both support ultimates here for Florida. See what Toronto decides to do, how they can get to the point, who gets this nano boost.
Get to the point, but their wall is a problem. Coalescence blocked off for the most part, but Hagapun just goes around the side here, make sure he gets value. Immortality field, the first casualty, and then the rest of the Defiant follow. Side player looking for Batiste in the background, and Aiden knows that his days are numbered if he were to peek out too far either way. He drops down, trying to get behind the shield, takes a body shot, and he'll be happy with that. There it is to finish though, Saya player, he's locked on! And he's chilling now. Mangachu also, but in a different way. Tries to go for a Blizzard. Oh! You're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. First round, Florida Mayhem.
7 final blows there for Saya player. So he comes out on the Widow, puts on a show.
Actually dominating.
As usual on the hero. We'll see what both teams decide to run on the next point.
My wrist is sore. I'm clicking too many heads.
I was too good. My wrist is bothering me.
Does seem like it is though, so we'll keep an eye on that. He's a high sensitivity player, bear in mind. A lot of flicking going on. With Widowmaker, a lot of those micro corrections you sort of see that manifest in the form of flicks on screen.
Bren has wrist problems as well. The same type of...
Yeah, I'm sure it's exactly the same reason too.
The flicking of the high sensitivity on the Widowmaker.
I think it's more that he's dabbing constantly, and that causes a bit of strain on the wrist. Oh wow! Saya player.
Hit Paul, good.
Now, what Logic gets hit very hard. It was a lot of damage that came away from Fate. Saya player starts off this round the way he finished the prior one. 2 kills. No sign of him slowing down now. Toronto just seemed completely bereft of options.
Fate seems like a brand new player since he's come over to Florida. I mean, he did not look good on the Valiant, albeit when he was on the Valiant, they didn't look good at all, really. I think he's definitely looked much improved here on Florida. A little bit of a fresh start for Fate as it's a nice halt that brings in Logix, allows them to pick up that first kill, which gives them the point.
Echo has a coalescence here, a little bit fast on the Hagapun, trying to make hay while the sun shines. A lot of damage to speak of on Florida, though. They stayed most of that off, and with Gods being desuited now, that Blizzard was a matter of course. Elementary, my dear Watson, and Echo realizes it's a fade away kind of time.
This is all Florida. It's, Toronto has to make a play for the point here. Let's see, they do have Blizzard coming online. That's about it. Gargoyle, he does have self-destruct. Gargoyle has been, I think I mentioned the pre-game, bright spot here for Florida. So always the chance of potentially eating one of these Blizzards from the D.Va player of Florida.
It's a slow-moving projectile.
Yeah.
Saya player thinks better of dropping down. Great walk to a better spot. Gargoyle keeping eyes on aim. Any chance to interrupt the sound barrier, he'll try and take. To the skies now. Reassess the situation. Here's Blizzard. Oh, there it is, eaten up! Mangachu. Oh dear, he can't be pleased about that one. Sometimes it's pretty easy to eat that. They got to get rid of the D.Va mech first. Saya player drops him with a Death Blossom now. He's got his eyes for the Supercharger. Yakpung right after that. And now the chase is on. Abuka will send him backwards, make it harder for him to complete this kill. He's getting held back with every hit that he connects.
Yeah, they're also keeping Gods staggered as Gods is on the point here as Baby D.Va, he earns enough to get a new mech back, but he's taken out right as that happens. BQB with a Blizzard could put this game away for the Mayhem.
92% and counting. Gods needs to shut down a Blizzard. He needs to keep his mech intact because that's where Florida are going to be making a beeline for, Matt. Take away his ability to stop it. Oh no, he's going on his own. There it is. Wait till he's frozen and let the Blizzard go. Now it doesn't connect with a ton of the Defiant people, but it keeps Gods caught up in that one. Logix dives deep, goes for a Death Blossom, gets rid of Chris and Gargoyle's mech and follows up on the pilot. BQB now stuck in the corner. He's not even contesting from that position.
Yeah, but Toronto takes the point. Toronto takes the point during this. They have aid go to the point and he's able to flip it. Let's see though. It's going to be Florida who wants to come back and fight this. Supercharger and Death Blossom available.
Definitely feel like Florida have relaxed into this game state a little bit now. They still need a good fight before they can finish things. Logix, how do I get behind this babble? Oh, just like this. Found the head of fate. Death Blossom dropping in out from Saya player. Nothing gained from that one. Logix can now flank around the side, pressure the mech of Gargoyle as he goes over the edge.
Just get a little bit aggressive, Florida. They like split off there right after the Blizzard. Allows Toronto to take the point. Toronto makes their way up to 50%. They have a Death Blossom, a Blizzard of their own, sound barrier as well as what looked like a clean sweep potentially for Florida is now starting to look better for the Defiant.
They've definitely let the Defiant get their foot in a door. Logix occupying the high ground for a brief spell. Now a teleport, a reposition, a drop down for a Death Blossom. Waiting for his chance, waiting for coalescence to be done. Self-destruct in, Gargoyle remix, so it's not much better of a time to try that now with Defense Matrix online once more. Reposition for the cleanup.
Go to Hagapun towards the end.
79%, 80%.
You're starting to worry big time if you're Florida. You got this Blizzard, but they're going to have sound barrier in coalescence for Toronto. They're going to have somebody make a play here to touch point.
Getting good Blizzard's also going to be hard. That's a Supercharger down. Logix, is it time? It is! Here comes the Death Blossom. Yakpung Supercharger's gone down. Fate is low though. Neko cleans him up with the coalescence, but Gargoyle's able to get the better of Logix. Chris, oh, the boop on point to take control, but he needs the rest of his team there right now. This fight's no good if the Mayhem don't win it, so a sound barrier is duly committed. Can they get rid of the main? Mangachu, yes! BQB finds him with an icicle, and now it's going to have to be some stall here from Florida. They don't really have the players, but Hagapun has the coalescence. That'll do it. BQB comes out of Ice Block with Neko harassing him there with the Biotic Grasp. Everyone from the Mayhem now grouping up, getting rid of the D.Va mech, and following up on the Moira. Florida had the point. They're in control, and they'll take map 1.
It's the play from Chris to flip the point. Comes back. It was a nice boop on an A to allow him to take the point for Florida. And then they get the sound barrier in play. They keep everybody topped up, and they're able to take the point.
The Defiant managed to bring it back in the final moments, but the Mayhem looked in control for most of that. Let's see if the Defiant bounce back in map 2.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Special attack.
One more time.
The Vancouver Titans, Stage 1 champions.
The Shock have done it! Stage 2 champions!
Make some noise for the current holders of the California Cup. Next week, that's where we're going to be at. That's right, the Kit Kat Rivalry Weekend kicks off on the 24th. Get your tickets, lavaliant.com. Simple as that. Happy birthday.
Oh, we got a birthday. All right.
And of course, the Toronto Defiant, not much of a feels birthday man for them right now. In fact, yeah, I'll leave it there. It's not been a great start to them. They do manage to make a resurgence late on Busan, but I mean, it really looked like the Mayhem had it on lock.
Yeah. I mean, look, Toronto played much better on the second point. It's just Florida. They make a play to flip the point back. Chris Able and Epic sound barrier connect with a bunch of the players for Florida Mayhem. So take a look. There's some new music there. It's
It's not new.
Liven up. I don't know. It felt new. Maybe I just don't listen to music. But Hanamura.
You do, but I
number
can't
two.
understand
I do,
what
but I don't
anyone's
remember
saying.
it. Yeah.
The music you listen to, it's all like... Sounds like someone's like trying to eat a baguette and talk at the same time.
Sure, whatever you said. I'll just do what you usually do. Just ignore what I said. Just keep talking. So
Definitely.
it'll be Toronto Defiant on defense here. They'll run the Reaper May.
Never insult your taste in music, fam.
no, I hold my taste of music dear to heart. They'll run Batiste Ana in terms of supports on defense. So it's you kind of classify as like main supports.
Yep.
I
mean, Batiste Exo Boots definitely just give you access to the high room.
So Batiste is interesting because he puts out the healing of like a main support, but his kit's very much like a flex support in terms of like you need to be able to put out a lot of damage,
It's really,
get great value.
it's really positional,
Yeah,
right?
great good value out of it. As Agapun will be on the Moira here, so Moira Lucio on offense.
Now, there is this angle, right? Sai is looking for the angle to the top of that building, I think, to teleport. Or is he not?
I think they're just delaying their own push here.
Maybe they're trying to imply that they're doing something else. All right, straight into the fight. Wow, definitely an upfront engagement here. Sireplay managed to get away there.
And they put the Maywall up in the high ground. They don't exactly know what Toronto's running.
Magnitude just got worked in the neutral by BQB and Chris. That boop really messed up Toronto's positioning. Fantastic. Chris gets in behind. knocks them all apart. Makes it hard for them to benefit from Orisa at all.
That'll be a fast point A take here for Florida.
Honestly, and there wasn't much to it, man. They kind of walked in.
Yeah, it was, the original wall there from Florida wasn't great. As they throw a wall up and it only goes to the high ground, they don't know what Toronto's running. Toronto is actually playing on the low ground. Maybe they expected something like a Hanzo up there, but and now you have the Hanzo here for Logics, but Florida still able to take that point.
Oh, good guy, Gargoyle, making sure everyone crosses the no man's land between him and the shield without getting picked off. Sometimes a Hanzo arrow can end your push before it begins. Okay, Holt comes. Oh, okay. Toronto teleporting over the map is what Sire player wants to try and do here. Oh dear. This is the old classic strat when Batiste first sort of came into the meta. Play on the high ground. Use Amp Matrix. They're impossible to reach. Yeah, still just as nasty as it was then.
In that push. Still 5 minutes here, though, for Florida to make the play.
Logie Bear looking for that picnic basket. God steals it.
Is that his new nickname?
Yeah, Logie Bear.
Okay.
You wouldn't know, man. Like, yeah, I go back way back with that guy, man. You know, like Europe and all that stuff. No, but I think that was his nickname.
And all that stuff, yeah. So now you're still waiting for Florida to kind of regroup, make a push. You just got to get that one player back from the spawn. So we do see this time and time again on Hanamura. The defense is able to bleed off a lot of the clock, which is getting these early pickoffs. It's a map that has really unforgiving chokes as you try and push through it, whether it be the high ground or that one choke through the low.
Toronto still sat up on their perch here. I mean, it worked once. No need to fix it. Maywall thrown up there. A Blizzard. Even committed to the high ground. Wow, the placement is so good. Dead Blossom doesn't do much for Sire play, but it's the aftermath of the Blizzard bat. Now Yakpung, while he was defending his team up there, it was fine. Now he's on his own.
Yeah, you're trying to hold on to Blizzard here with Mangachu having that. It's going to be a sound barrier from Chris. You have 5 players alive here for the Mayhem. You have to consider using the Blizzard. Now they drop it.
Who are they getting though? Fate maybe? I mean, even he can fortify through most of that, and he does. Blizzard was not convincing. Neko has been found. Huggaford, it's the battle, Moira, baby!
Oh, yeah.
Bionic grasp! He has to get out, though. There was a bionic grenade thrown down by Neko. But still, you're taking up the Ana's attention for a while. 1 tick already for the Florida Mayhem on the point here. Wrecking Ball has to come back around. And Yakpong, yeah, he doesn't want to stay around for too much longer, but the Immortality field is well committed. Look at this, though, the high ground.
Really nice.
Love that switch.
Florida.
Great little switch from Florida, go up the stairs. They chase down both Necom and Logics, and now most of the damage is out of the picture here for Toronto. There is a May there, of course. God sitting in that back corner. Mangachu might need some help, but look at Wall. His escape now is impossible. He can't run away, can't wall off himself. And that's a D-suit on Gods. I don't think this fight is going to be going for much longer.
So you do have a stall come in here. Yakpung will get onto the point. The Biotic Orb will be a self-destruct down from Gargoyle to clear everything off as Florida will be able to complete the map.
See, they break apart that high ground hold from the Toronto Defiant. Toronto try and use that Batiste Orisa combo to make it hard for Florida to access them. But whether it's by swinging via vines or teleporting across the map, the Mayhem get there and they get the job done.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Time to raise my DPS.
Toronto Defiant tried a little bit of a throwback composition on defense here on Hanamura. It went about as well as could be expected. They had a couple of holds, and what really hurt them was probably losing point A as quickly as they did. Down at the 303, that's how long is in the time bank.
It's a lot.
For this map, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've seen teams like finish point A really quick and then get held all of point B, like one tick, if that.
I mean, especially if the enemy team or the defending team is able to get picks as you approach. We've seen that a couple times today, whether it's with Hanzo or May headshots. I mean, that bleeds a lot of time off the clock.
Defense here for Florida, you'll have Batiste plus Zen. So this offers a lot of damage with the Roadhog in the Hanzo in play.
It's worth noting as well, Matt, that these two teams played very recently. Did they double up in matches this stage? And speaking to the coaching staff of the Mayhem in the break, they said, like, we're wondering, we're kind of worried. Have Toronto figured out the way we're trying to play? I think their fears may be allayed here by what we've seen so far. Florida have either changed it up or they've kept themselves above reproach.
You see Gargoyle did not die on the offensive attack there for Florida. I think you look back on their stage 4. For me, he's their MVP in stage 4 for this Florida Mayhem team. He's a player you get really excited about building around as the future goes on. Chris, well, he's dead as he gets halted up into the sky.
Yep.
Hooked on in.
It's a good play. Logic's now going to be able to head to the high ground. He needs to get damage done quick. Goes able to get away. Logic's wanted that pick. He needs to look behind him as well. He's not coming around. Logic's, yeah, he has to Wraith Walk to the point. He forgot that Hago would have come around back. Going to be 4 players here for the Defiant on the point. They're looking a little bit worse where there are 5 players here ready to defend for the Mayhem. Can they touch the point? BQB has to do this now. He has to step up and touch. Hago's down. BQB also not ideal. There was a chance they might be able to make a comeback, but now that is gone. Saya player gets 2 kills, but it doesn't matter.
Hago not the ideal person to go and contest the point. So you may not even have a chance to keep this going, though. If you're Toronto, you're going to have to wait a little bit.
That was the most meaningful tactical crouch I think I've seen. There's a lot of history there.
Allows some players to come back. We'll see what Toronto decides to do here. Trying to go towards high ground. Still going to run Zen Batiste on defense here for Florida.
Sonic Arrow hits here, and the Defiant are revealed. Whether they know this or not, Toronto want to keep pushing across. Mangachu might have been afraid of getting picked off there. He must have known there was a Sonic Arrow. We are just waiting out another Sonic Arrow here. Florida, Saya player making it very clear what's going on. Logic's high ground. He is seen, immediately drops down. He realizes that, wait a minute, they're not dropping either. Let's get BQB while he's on his own. Oh, he tries to go for the death loss and he gets shut down. Absolutely trashed, son. That is brutal. BQB, Blizzard, extra freeze, comes out of Ice Block, hits the headshot. That is so nasty. Trashed. That is...
Yeah, you saw BQB here being able to contest the point on defense. He's got Ice Block, and they also have this Immortality field in the corner that you see players from Florida playing inside of right now. They've not been dealt with for a while.
Well, a chance for Toronto here. Neko Logic's doing work from long range. Logic's on the Hanzo. Man, that stuck well. Fate is going to try and stall out a little bit of supercharge. It's not going to help him much when his enemies are able to stave off most of this damage, and that is a wall and a half. Nicely done here by the Defiant.
Even better time there for Toronto.
Hey, even with that gap, of course, for Logic's just getting a bit unlucky there. BQB outplaying on the main. The rest of his team is still able to get there and get the job done. And you have to be pleased with that one. They lead by about 1 minute and 20 seconds on the time bank. Well, both of these teams have shown definitely an ability to take advantage of player advantage situations on the attacking side. Toronto now back on defense with a better time bank than Florida, who we thought were home and hosed after their push in, but really Defiant unwilling to give up here.
Really good push for Toronto. Also, shout my boy Clayster United, one COD champs. I went out with steak with him in Puckett earlier in the week. He's going to be treating me and Puckett to steak. He's going to have to hang out in LA for a little bit longer.
Yeah, almost a run back for 100 Thieves. Didn't quite get there. Shout out to those guys. Great event. But now back to this one. See, Logic's actually using his Wraith Walk to get on top of the Dragon Sigil there. He can drop down a little bit closer. Here's the Ice Wall. Logic uses that to get down. And a lot of freezing going on here. BQB is a great angle for him. Mangachu has to Ice Block. That's going to give Sire Player a chance to get behind him. Hagapun takes him down. Again, Florida just walked up, Matt. They just beat them in the neutral.
Chris just hit another really nice move. He actually went up on the high ground there and then knocked everybody for Toronto right back into Florida. Really sweet play there from the Lucio of the Florida Mayhem. Some really good support play from Florida. That one opens it up, turns it into a few eliminations. Logics play Hanzo now. So you get into the second point. Hanzo really good, just spamming some of these chokes, getting those first quads. So Toronto, yet again, don't put together a good point A defense. Maybe their point B could be a little bit better. They still have a big advantage here, Toronto. Really good time bank.
Now, do they have the time to set up on the high ground? I don't think they do, or at least they're not choosing to. No, they're mostly here on this platform. So, and seeing this, the Mayhem say, what, really? You've left your player Logic's on his own? Well, I have Coalescence in it. He's a long-range beam that's about to fry your compatriot. Onto the point they go with a Defiant. I'm pretty sure that was a hefty boot from Chris to send him to the low ground now. 2 ticks already for the Florida Mayhem on the point, and the Defiant are in complete and utter disarray. Losing Gargoyle's mech does hurt, but he's going to duck behind the shield and build it back up as soon as he can. BQB in the middle of the ice. Gargoyle dancing in and out of it. It's a Blizzard from Florida as well. But I think that might have messed him up. Great Blizzard from Mangachu.
Yeah, and they also get a nano boost from Neko on the Gods on the point, which helps him put away the final player and also keep Gods alive through the blizzards that go down. So Neko was in a battle against Chris up the high ground, just turns, lands that nano boost, since it was definitely needed.
2 ticks though. 72.7% from Florida on that point. They walked up and they took the fight.
Nothing for Toronto here on D though, Mitch. They have to use everything to be able to hold on.
See if Florida go for something a little bit more subtle, but right now they're just playing fundamentals. Getting value out of Lucio, just trying to force bad positioning from their opponents and then focus fire. Okay, they are up on the high ground. May's wall is able to lift them up. Now what? Self-destruct perhaps. Sire Player gets his protection as he goes in. Logic's he's cut off for the rest of his team. What a great May wall. Florida Mayhem makes something out of nothing there as they go in. Supercharger has been used. Chris's sound barrier, of course, also applied. Mangachu frozen, take it down. Gargoyle comes out of nowhere with the micro rockets and makes sure that's a secured kill. Death Blossom. Not much there for Sire Player, but again, creates some space. Gods to be desuited here on Logic's against Coalescence. I don't favor the McCree there, nor does Hagapun. Florida get it done on their second push in.
Yeah, and I believe they finished with about 30 seconds on the clock as well. So we'll get to see Toronto now go back on offense, where they were really strong. See if they can complete the map even faster. So they're going to need you to keep this map alive, potentially win it, even up the series.
Last time around it was a hook to the high ground, getting a Batiste. Can you rely on that again if you are the Toronto Defiant? Can you rely on a hook? Outside of that, we don't really know what their set play is for attacking A on this map. So perhaps we get something new, something a bit different.
You can run the Hanzo maybe, although you do like, if the other team's going to run that Reaper, you kind of have to run it as well.
Logic's
in that close quarter.
I think on point B you can. Logic switched off the Reaper after BQB pulled one over on him, played Hanzo from that high ground on attack, and made it really hard for Florida to stall the point.
So it looks like Toronto will come out with the same exact offense they ran that first time. The Ana plus the Lucio, where they kept Neko at the gate, where Sayo was able to go back and pick him off. So they have to always remember, like, you can't allow one of these players to just kind of lurk, get around Neko. It could be very dangerous in the 1v1. You lose the Ana at the choke. It's a lot of healing gone.
That's kind of the perennial conundrum on this map. We've seen it so many times, even in dive propositions, like your Lucio or your Zen Ana sometimes will get left by the door, and then the enemy team can counter dive off them. So Neko staying with the rest of his team is absolutely imperative here. That's where the bulk of the healing is going to come from. Here come the Defiant now. Remember last time it was a hook on Chris. The push, walls thrown up from both. Okay. Toronto try and block the high ground off and shut Sire player down early, but they get walled off themselves. Now they push in. Hook does not connect this time around, and Gods is actually fell, looking for the pick. Oh, Logix! Gargoyle draws him in and sends it packing. And that's what happens, I guess, if you don't get a hook.
And it's also when you allow the Hanzo to put down some extra damage from the high ground. The hooks, though, are good from Gargoyle.
You saw they tried to shut Sire player down with that wall.
That they tried that, well, actually it was Florida who tried to do that to Toronto. Toronto didn't have the Hanzo, but that's what you try and do there. Because you don't want to burn like your Orisa barrier too early, because then they burn it down with the Zen, the Roadhog, and the Hanzo. So you have to kind of save that in some manner using the Ice Wall to block some of that damage. It's a good way to go about it.
Sonic Arrow, Sire player is ready for the next incursion.
He's just taking an angle here that if they wanted to use Wall to break it off, there's not really a great way to do that.
Logic's forced to Wraith Walk there just from Sire player Storm Arrows, and that's a wall. Oh,
Nice
that's a
ball.
blizzard as well. Logic has to try and teleport out of it. Looks like he's able to get free. But Neko again left by the door! Oh! Toronto forgot their baggage porter. Logix is also caught in the head by Sire player, and I don't know if Toronto can keep playing this way without an answer to Sire, but Dodge is able to get work done inside that small room. Dragon Strike, though, that's 3. That's 4 for Sire player in this fight. Make it 5.
Why not?
That is a very strong individual showing.
He's got 18 final blows here on Hanamura. The next highest for his team would be actually Hagapun at 11, playing that
The Zen run there.
Battle Moira a little bit earlier on. Oh, there goes Mangachu, a headshot that comes through.
And you can't just walk
From
out of this
Saya.
room anymore. That's why the Defiant have been pausing inside there. What's it going to be now, Toronto? Chris, oh, okay, he's trying to set something up. Looks like it's going to be an amplification matrix play from here, and that's why Sire player is actually playing just above him, not over on the left side like he was before.
Getting ready to drop the sand.
Just build forehead.
He's about to... Supercharger plus Sand Matrix. A lot of damage potential here for Florida. So Toronto, they do a nice job of kiting this. They get around.
Stay out of line of sight. So now both of those damage amplifying ultimates don't account for much. Nicely done by Toronto to avoid that. 2 ultimates for absolutely zilch. Oh, Huggerby with a pick on aid. Negalucio's gone. You've got to commit one way or another, but guess what? The wall's going to make this fight even more of a nightmare. Splitting your team in half. Here's a Blizzard now. It's got to be a good one from Toronto. They catch BQB out. Gods, though, loses his mech. Gargoyle goes for the whole hog now. Mangachu has the ice block. Logix can't get close enough. This is carnage.
They coalesce here towards the end, although you will end up getting that ultimate back rather quickly. A few players drop. As you're about to use it, you'll be able to get BQB back in the fight. As a reminder, you know, Toronto, they set a better time the first go-around than
got a hook.
Florida.
They got that hook.
Florida, though, putting together a great defense here.
You feel like your plan for a set team fight goes out the window once you have a player advantage, since it's such a huge boost to your team. I see that they use the defense matrix to even get outside of that small room. Fire player, hand hovering over the Dragon Strike button, holds it in, able to get back. The Mortality Field thrown below, but Gargoyle wasn't able to benefit from it. Here it comes, Dragon Strike to that high ground now. Toronto will have to concede it. Oh, did they lose Gods?
It like baited the door trying to 1v1 Neko in a Risa on a 1v1 with the supercharger.
I know Neko's got some moxie, but that's not a 1v1 you want to take. Holds, yeah. Logic's almost taken down now. He's so close to a death block.
Gargoyle back on the Wrecking Ball, the trademark Gargoyle Wrecking Ball here.
It's got to be a good death loss amount, otherwise this is over. Young Kung already gone down. Hagapun finds another first pick. 13 final blows for the Zenyatta. And now Aid's going to try and walk up, and BQB ready to receive. Mangachu turns his back on BQB. And BQB does the same, in fact, to Aid. He goes low. Gargoyle back, Sire player has returned, and now Aid's in trouble. God's frozen up. And it's the last one here for Aid. Wall up in main. There's no chance Yakpung's getting in. Logic's trying to approach on the Doomfist, but it's all for naught. The Florida Mayhem were behind the 8 ball in terms of Iron Bank, but they bring it back with some solid defense. No one gets picked off. And oddly enough, they were able to win multiple fights in a row as a result.
Yes, Toronto had a big advantage going into extra time, more time in the time bank, and they get full held. Not able to take point A on the run back. Saya players too strong in the first half. We'll hear from the halftime crew after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's Network, T-Mobile, and by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right. We got a lot of love for the unhappy Canadians who see their team down 2-0 to the Florida Mayhem at the half. Welcome back, everybody. It is the final day of regular season action here in the Blizzard Arena.
I don't know whether you saw, but someone had a sign that said, "Save us, Logix."
He's trying, man.
That's
But
so
you're
good.
going up against Saya Player, the man who stole your job. If anyone watched last year, Saya Player came in and was instantly put into the starting lineup as a sniper. Today, we wanted to see the showdown between Logix for now the Toronto Defiant going up against Saya Player. And Josh, we knew Saya had the numbers coming in. How do you feel after watching 2 games?
Oh man, Saya Player is just so good. The guy dominates. And the head-to-head is incredible. I mean, the hometown stats, the age difference. But honestly, I think because Saya Player is a little younger, the reaction times, just getting the edge there, that 1 year makes all the difference. Job stolen as well. I don't think
That's a rough one. It's a rough one. The only thing Logix really had going for him there is that he looks a lot more comfortable just standing there.
Yeah.
Saya Player looked really, really uncomfortable. Either way, yeah, Logix did look uncomfortable in game because Saya Player had his numbers. He really tried, as you said. Like, their numbers were as even as can be if your team is losing every team fight. But yeah, Florida Mayhem. It was quite a roll, honestly, in the first half.
Oh, don't get me wrong, Logix actually played pretty decently, but Saya Player was on fire. He was destroying in this first map and continued it into the second as well. We saw a lot of his Widowmaker to start out, Busan, and then on Hanamura, it was just a show from this guy. On Reaper, but also on the Hanzo.
Yeah, I mean, this map ended with a 40-34 fractional kill score. No, not 40, 70. I don't know where the 40 is coming from. 70.
Yeah.
70
Well,
kills for the
I'll tell you where the
Mayhem.
40 may have came from. That was Saya Player's eliminations at the end of this.
42 eliminations to 22 from Logix. I was following the numbers. It's like, how is he doubling what Logix is doing in this game?
Yeah.
This was one of the sickest plays. I think it was a 6K up top. Not a bad day from the man known as Saya Player. So far, I have to ask you, though, when you're looking at Florida Mayhem, it's been a resurgence just like Washington in Stage 4. Do you feel good about this team moving into 2020?
Technically, yes, but the thing with this question is always, of course, like we don't know what meta we're gonna see.
Very true.
They've only really showed up now with the 2-2-2 lock. Frankly, right before that, they've been in a transitional period where they added new pieces and they had to gel and get used to each other. So it's kind of hard to tell how they will fare and if they are meta-proof.
All right, I'm excited to see these guys. Gargoyle doing work on that off tank.
Oh, yeah.
Saya player, if there's a sniper in 2020, he's going to be your guy. But speaking of Saya player, you saw last week on Junkertown, he set the record for the most eliminations in a single game. And today we're going to play a little trivia here with both of these teams for the records they have set. Saya player set the single map record last week for most final blows with 42 on Junkertown. Whose record did he break? Was it A, Taimu, B, Birdring,
I think
C,
it was-
Architect, or D, Sabiobi?
It's either Birdring or Sabiobi.
So you're going 50-50 shot here, Zoe.
So I can say either Birdring or Sabiobi.
It's B.
All right, I'm going to go with Birdring then, B.
Okay.
It's Birdring. Well done, guys.
Well,
Much
I set you
better
up
at this game.
for success.
All right, question number 2. Let's get this one on the board for you. Saya player has set records this season, but what stat did he lead all Widowmakers in last season? Was it A, hero damage, B, final blow, C, scoped critical accuracy, or D, scoped hit kills?
I'm going to go, I think, I'll give you a 50-50. I think it's between C or D. I think it's some kind of accuracy stat. I don't think it was hero damage in final.
So he's not
neither
wrong.
do I, considering that their team is not doing that hot back then. So, see?
C, scope critical. Wow, 2 for 2.
Our 50-50 thing is really working. Like,
It's
if
working well. You guys are a great duo right now. Let's see if you can get number 3 right. Gods broke the record for most ultimates negated in a single game this season. How many ults did he negate? Was it A, 3, B, 4, C, 5, or D, 6?
I think I remember this one. I think so. I think this is D6.
In the,
Okay.
So
Wait,
we'll give you a
only
shot.
4?
Oh, you got it right. There you go. It's B4. Graphics helped us out on this one. We
Is
got
that
one
game
more
or
question. Single map.
like match map.
Can't tell you.
It was the map. I think he did it all
Right.
on Ruin.
right.
Is disgusting.
That game.
Well done, guys. Well done. All right, Logix leads all players in kill completion, final blows / eliminations this season. He's the only player above what percentage? 30, 40, 50, or 60%?
Ooh,
The
40.
only player above this number.
What are you going for?
I go with 40.
Going B40. No!
I'm going to go 50. I reckon you were right.
Josh, you got it the second time.
Should've listened
There
to
we
the
go.
second zone.
Pretty darn well done. And that just gives you a little hint of how important these two snipers are for their team. We'll find out. Can Logix make the watching party party? We'll find out. Game 3 is coming up next.
大家好，我是杭州 Spark 主坦郭雪，来自四川。那时候我舅舅会带着有一次带我去了网吧玩，然后让我看他玩游戏，然后也教我玩。当时他玩的是 CS， 然后后面就有点喜欢上这种东西了嘛。我对 Spark 本期的期待，我希望我们能进入决赛吧，最后能拿到冠军。
冻住，不许走，不许走。
The new comms check is amazing.
I knew this was going to be a fun series.
Okay.
Ready to go, ready to go.
You do know I can't eat lasagna while this is in my cheeks. If I have it on my fork and then we cut to somebody else talking, then I don't actually have to eat it.
Just see what happens. Cotton balls, mix it up with lasagna. See if you can swallow it without.
Oh, dude, we found out that Matt, his watch, he never actually bothered setting the time on it. He just likes the way it looks.
How does that surprise you?
I don't know, dude. Matt's such a baller.
Whistling failure.
My brain is broken.
Welcome to my hell.
Bren was never marching band.
Nope, that doesn't exist in the UK.
Really?
Yeah, because we're not sad.
Alrighty, can I get a black coffee? Seth, can you get it together, please? Thanks.
That bacon jack's so hot right now.
Ooh, okay, spicy.
I've heard that. I've heard that on the internet.
They're gonna catch that on comms check.
Right.
Everything the light touches is
What about the
art.
shadows over there, Dad?
You must never go there.
Okay.
Good, I can fall asleep right now.
Yo, dude. It's Sunday and I'm mildly delirious.
I have a plate.
It ain't normal. It ain't right.
That explains everything. Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Overwatch League, where we're answering a lot of important questions like, Matt, what's the time?
4:24. 4:24. I got my watch on, but it's not.
It is close. I mean, even
Is
the
it?
broken clock is.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of close. Kind of close.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's 4 something.
Welcome back to
Alright.
the show where the points are made up and everything doesn't matter. That's right, the Overwatch League, the El Clasico.
Yes. Toronto, Florida.
I got that back.
Final match for both of these teams this season. Florida started their season poor. They've gotten better in the final stage. Toronto, they actually started really good in stage 1, and then they kind of fell off. They've added new players, albeit pretty late in the season. But still, I think you add some of these players, you move forward with them into next year, and you can make some noise.
Absolutely. I think it was mentioned earlier on today, it's like, for those teams that, are playing their final match now, it's a very important opportunity to sort of assert themselves and cement their spot going into the off-season, where I'm quite sure that a lot of these spots are going to be up for grabs. There will be contests, new signings, new talent coming up from academy-level divisions. These teams best be ready for that one, because it's the Overwatch League. This is the pinnacle of competition out here.
Well, and we did see a lot of meaningful players added in the offseason between year 1 and year 2.
I
So
mean,
you
it's
expect
exciting
going
time,
into
right? It's one of my favorite things going into a season is looking at the transfers.
next year, even more players coming on.
Yeah. Maybe we see rosters expand because of the rigors of travel. Who knows? Florida Mayhem come out of the doors here on Blizzard World. We're going to be playing, again, pretty much the Moyu over composition. They have the Zenyatta with the Batista. Roadhog there as well.
Yeah, both teams opt for the Hanzo here as the long sight lines definitely benefit Hanzo over Reaper. This type of scenario.
Interesting, 8 goes for an Exo boot jump there. I mean, if that was a Widowmaker on the other side, that could have been the end of it.
To put himself in harm's way.
Yeah. Normally... Yeah. Okay. Fate going to come around the corner. Immortality field thrown out. Fate is low, though. Needs to get some healing. He might be immortal, but not forever.
Yeah, you're pretty comfortable, though, as it's around the corner.
There it is.
Yeah, this is where it starts falling apart. Hagapun with 2.
The trickle becomes a flood there. Just the one pick was all they needed. I mean, Hagapun, insane series from him so far. 12 to 13 final blows on Hanamura alone, on Zen mostly. And now, doing some serious work already on Blizzard World.
There's the defense is non-existent there. Florida will take first point. They'll try and move up to the high ground. Mangachu gets hit with the halt hook combo, so now you've lost your May. Stealing up Fade is on the ground. Biotic grenade there comes on through. Barely makes it out with his life here.
Good preemptive immortality build from Chris. I mean, you're just shooting fish in a barrel at this point. You're just hoping to catch a headshot somewhere. Logic's and Neko out of the picture now. Holt's doing a lot of work, and Florida is starting to snowball this.
I mean, we're at 9 final blows for Florida, 0 for Toronto. Is coming out of the half, at least here at the start. Toronto looking a little flat. See if they can get a stop here as Hagapun moving the cart solo.
That is what you look like when you're getting rolled over, Matt.
Oh, they have to back up. They're going to take a really slow approach to this to try and fight it maybe one more time.
They have time. It's only Hago moving the payload right now.
But you're going to have all 6 ultimates here available for the Florida Mayhem, and that's going to be an Ant Matrix to open it up. The May wall is on the opposite side of it, so they're able to shoot through the Ant Matrix, knock it down.
Mangachu has to drop down and go for Blizzard. There's no other choice. There's no Diva here, so he doesn't have to worry about defense mage. He lost Yak. Oh, they lost the point.
Well, yeah, they didn't contest the point, so that'll be the second point taken there for the Florida Mayhem.
I mean, you can hear it in our voices. That's kind of something that's pretty disappointing for Toronto.
Yeah.
It's on their faces too. Like, that is a fight that they absolutely could have had.
You waited so long to set up to get a final touch to make a play, and then you didn't do it. So now you've allowed Florida to bank even more ultimates here. Like I mentioned, you will also have 6 ultimates coming into the fight, but you cannot afford to lose this one. It's going to be very costly for both teams.
Superchargers ahoy. Both teams trying to add a little bit of extra lethality. Oh, throwing the amplification matrix in. Oh, the halt into the Dragon Strike, though. Not bad at all. Yakpul caught by that one. And the Defiant trying to push up a little bit more here. BQB got frozen at the same time, so at least Logix was able to follow up on the kill. Faye wants to push this as far as he can, but the Mayhem are down to 3 players here.
You can still make progress, though. Like, if you get it towards the end and force the Blizzard out of, like, Mangachu, you feel really good about it. Now they start to back up. They realize that Immortality field is down. You have some more spawners coming in here for Toronto. So
Spawners in the chat.
Start to back up.
3:59, that is the record right now. It pretty much is a straight run through.
Oh, that is quick. When did that happen? I'd love to know that.
10 seconds. 4 minutes and 10.
Oh, he gets killed during Blizzard, but he gets it off barely.
He gets it. Chris gets caught by that one, but now it's going to be a Florida Mayhem Blizzard and a good halt to start it off. God's trying to waddle out. No. Escape for the Roadhog. Saya player ready for a Dragon Strike soon. It was a Toronto one first, and Mangachu switching over to the far end here. Florida have missed the record time, but they are still in very good shape here. Fight's going well for them. Yakpung is down, and Hagapun continue to find those eliminations here. What can Mangachu do to save the situation? Forced away by Whole Hog, he'll have to try and flank, but Aid's not there. Mangachu not there in time, nor is Gods. That was quick.
Barely off of the record for Blizzard World. Missed it by about 20 seconds. Really, it kind of all falls apart for Toronto on defense in point B when they're not able to get back, make a stand there. They had set up for one final fight before it goes through. We'll see if they can set a record on offense after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
For your information, that was the fastest attacking time on Blizzard World this season. It was not the Overwatch League record, but for Season 2.
Nope, they had to check with our stats guy, Ben, Captain Planet, whether the record was against last year's Shanghai Dragons, because I have removed all of those records from the book. It was not. It's actually Seoul Dynasty versus the Valiant, so second place. Good spot to be in. Well, good spot if you're Florida, bad spot if you're Toronto.
Yeah, it doesn't look great on you.
But Toronto, now on offense, has the capabilities of setting the record.
That's right. As does every team who goes on the attack on Blizzard World. Toronto, dilly-dallying a little bit by the front door just to try and see if maybe Florida are playing close. Maybe they could start a fight. But no, the Mayhem giving him a decent amount of room. The Roadhog set a little bit further forward.
System malfunction.
We'll be taking
Probably waiting for another Risa barrier here.
Well, they get it. Holt comes in. Oh,
Nice.
Fate. Gargoyle, though, just going to take a breather. Peace, fam.
Yep. Gargoyle keeps
Back to
himself
safe.
alive. And there's Cyplayer getting the first pick off yet again. So Saya takes out Neko. Logics returns to favor. Amp Matrix already here from Aid. So it's going to force Florida to split.
Argo's looking for another pick. He's close to Transcendence. Both supports on the Florida Mayhem side getting close to their ultimates. And that amplification matrix from A didn't really punch the ticket they were looking for. Fate goes down though. It feels like a matter of time now for the Florida Mayhem before they capitulate and off this point over. Okay, he's going to shut Gargoyle inside that left room. Try and here's Johnny himself through it.
You didn't think that was serious, but they're going pretty quick.
Well, yeah, it's okay so far.
That'll be a Blizzard that comes in from BQB as he's trying to extend Florida's hold here on
Fate
the point,
has
but
to touch.
he's not going to be able to.
He's not touching.
Too much damage, yeah.
And there it is, the Defiant. 4 minutes, 45 seconds in the bank. They get that point 8 tank. Pretty solid stuff. And a bevy of ultimates at their disposal now.
I think Gods has really had himself a good year of being an addition to this Toronto Defiant lineup. We've seen him throughout Overwatch just as an esport, as a game, right? Played many different roles. The off-tank role, definitely picked it up here. I think also, you come in as a off-tank late, you come in to replace another player. It's hard to build that chemistry. That'll be a Transcendence comes in through Dragon here as Toronto's still trying to get the card going.
Gargoyle got caught off there by the wall. Good Transcendence from Hargoput. Oh, BQB gets Logics on the high ground. Perfect! That supercharger now doesn't look nearly as nasty. And the BQB makes sure gets rid of that too. But this is big for Florida, man. They've now got some big ultimates themselves.
Yeah.
Blizzard, Dragon Strike's ready now. They can set up a forward hold of this choke.
Well, that's the great part about having these ultimates on the defensive end, is you can play in this choke, make it costly for Toronto to just even get out of it, and then put a defensive stand together right before point B. You probably, even if you lose this fight, if you're Florida, you have like 2 fights before point B, like the end of it. So you're in a good spot here if you're the Florida Mayhem.
Transcendence is there at least, and that'll help with the Dragon Strike. It'll mean that the burden of having to reposition won't come as quickly as they otherwise would have. Oh, Fate, he's in trouble. Great wall put up. It's eventually going to be broken down. Dragon Strike. There's an immortality field there from 8 though, so makes it a little bit hard. And Logic's wins out again. Sire player once more. Chase Fate down. Notice though that Florida aren't really using that many ultimates here.
Nope, they don't have to. I mean, they're not the team that has to set the pace, right? So they can hold on to the ultimates. Florida on defense, force them out of Toronto just by playing that close, preventing the cart from moving up. Toronto now going to try and do what Florida did. They got up to the high ground, put together like 2 or 3 pickoffs, and then escorted the cart solo in.
The difference is this time Florida will have a chance to defend. They'll be able to set up as they move forward. Sonic Arrow reveals many of their positions, which makes that hold a little bit more deadly. Dragon Strike very close. They want to take a fight on the high ground here. Bear in mind, payload is still moving, so Florida need to drop down, but Neko and Gods are gone. And now they've pushed down, commit to the cart, get rid of Yakpong. Very nice from Florida.
Yes, Florida, they want to play for some of those pickups, then go down and play for the cart. If you don't play for like another pick or two up on the high ground, you drop down to the low ground and now give Toronto the high ground advantage. You can keep Yakpong alive a little bit longer with some supports alive. And then maybe Toronto's able to make a play about it. So it's all about who can control this high ground.
The Defiant go again. How do they drop a Blizzard in here most effectively? The Dragon Strike. Fate is pulled into it. He's able to get clear though, and now the Blizzard gets thrown down. Exo Boots gets at least Chris out of the way, and Hugapun goes in with the Transcendence. Magnitude trying to cut line of sight off of Transcendence to make sure they can get BQB, but it doesn't work. Really nice little move there. Great Transcendence, another well-timed one from Hugapun. He's getting a lot of value out of those. 6 final blows for Hago, by the way. 6.
Yeah. Now we're down to about a minute on the clock when this next fight kicks off. Somebody from Toronto needs to make a play. You're looking at like Logic's, you're looking at God. Both those players are going to supercharge it to open it up.
That wall.
Maybe this allows your Hanzo to make a pick, but it's Neko who is able to take out Chris early on.
That wall will slow the Defiant down enough. The payload is far enough away from the checkpoint that Florida can take a breather. Literally, with Gargoyle now. Whole Hog inside the small room realizes that even though he's putting out a lot of damage, he's still at risk. He's going to take a breather immediately.
He's been great.
Yeah, I mean, these additions from WGS Armament, Matt, have been really nice on Florida.
Hook comes through, he forces out Transcendence. The cart's still moving, but you're going to have the spawn advantage here for the Florida Mayhem.
Oh man, he was way too close to Gargoyle there with the Amplification Matrix, just adding to the Scrap Gun's damage output. And now the Defiant are down to 22 seconds without a main tank. They need to make the play. That might be it. Dodds gets rid of Gargoyle. Surely he has to back away. No, he goes in with the whole hog. BQB sits at the fringes of it, throwing in icicles, and Magnitude has to be careful of the Discord orb. Oh, great pile driver though. Now Fate has to rush forward to try and contest. Here's the Blizzard though. That was BQB's, and they get rid of Yakpung and Aid. Magnitude try as he might to freeze them up. It's not going to be enough. Logic's sitting in the corner here. Can't commit to the fight. It's too dangerous with the Blizzard in play. And now the Transcendence comes in from Hugapun. It's going to be tough for Magnitude to find any sort of kills with that kind of healing available. With overtime ticking down, the Toronto Defiant are brought to a screeching halt here. And it's going to be Yakpung is forced to throw himself into the fight, but a Discord orb ends him pretty quickly. Amp Matrix, Wall, you name it, they got it. The Mayhem will be taking the series here. They move to 3-0 with Blizzard World under their belts. And the Defiant now, all they have to left to fight for is another map.
Yes, if you're Toronto, you definitely want to get a map on the board to close out your season, but also this is a Mayhem going into next year. You're definitely proud about the way they played towards the end. We'll see what happens in map 4 after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Florida Mayhem now as they head towards the twilight of their season. They've got to be feeling good, man. The last few matches have been really nice. They've definitely climbed up a lot. You saw their performance graph at the start of the game, and if you missed it, it looks something like this. Stonks are up for the Mayhem, and honestly, really solid performance over Blizzard World there after halftime.
Yeah, anything for the Toronto Defiant? It's been a rough second half of the year. You've made a lot of adjustments, in terms of coaching, right? And then Bishop's out, you bring in a bunch of new players. It's hard to make those adjustments on the fly really quickly towards the end of the year.
You're trying to adapt as well to new metas and sort of dealing with other teams, and people are trying to innovate over each other time and time again. It's a lot to put on your plate as a team. So you have some substitutions.
Yeah.
Swan.
My boy Swan comes in for Fate. All the subs are coming in for the Florida Mayhem. So there are a bunch of new players that'll come in. DPI will come in here for Gargoyle. Now you got one more sub, I believe.
It's going to be Byram.
Byram in for Hoggo.
Subbed Hoggo out. Man, he was absolutely dominating. He had 10 final blows on that last map. He actually was tied for highest again on his team. He, on the Zen, forced to be reckoned with. So obviously the Florida Mayhem as well going to give some of those players that quite often sit on the bench a chance to get out there and get some of that
What do you got to lose?
competition.
I mean, you won the series. It's your last game of the season. Give these guys another run on the stage.
Saya plays browsing his player icons. What's it going to be?
Making the important decision.
I don't know what he's...
what player icon? What spray?
I can see. He has a Belgian flag. Oh, wow! There's a Belgian flag. And Logix has a South Korean flag.
Former teammates?
Is that friendly, or is that
Former
like,
teammates?
yo, I'm coming for your dog tag? You know?
I think it's probably some friendly bands between those guys. Logix and Side Player on the Florida Mayhem together last season. Side Player, one of the only holdovers from Florida squad from last season into this season. A good little friendly round.
Sign of request. It's a salute across the stage. Logix definitely going to be happy with where he's landed now. I mean, the Defiant seems like a great place for him to develop. I mean, you have such veteran players. I mean, Gods has been around in Overwatch as a player since the absolute very beginning. A consummate veteran. And honestly, his path to get here to the Overwatch League, he had to grind. This guy hustled and hustled through the academy scene when, like, many people said, why is he on an Overwatch League team in Season 1?
Same with Mangachu.
Absolutely.
Last year, Mangachu was one of the players.
You know what? They never complained. You know, okay, there was like big prison jokes and stuff like that, but they were very passionate. They were driven to compete at that level. They proved themselves, and now they're here. I mean, for Mangachu as well, he's representing a team from his home country. You know, like representing a Canadian org.
I think he just figured out that he's on camera.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, if you haven't seen interviews with him, they're always a real pleasure. Really modest guy.
Yeah, great guy.
And honestly, he got that nasty Pharaoh. Obviously, he is the current holder of the Torbjorn 1 championship.
One of the more prestigious awards we have in the league, the Torbjorn Hammer 1v1 Specialist.
Definitely up there, that's for sure.
It seems like we're going to be ready to go here. It's somebody from Florida just having a little bit of issue. I believe Byram trying to figure something out.
Oh, Neko's trying to find his Boston Uprising spray,
which was a mistake.
It was a mistake. These things happen. He just didn't unbind it from when he was on that roster.
Route 66 will be the final map in this series. Be the final map for both teams' seasons. Can you end on a high note here for Toronto? You'd lose the series, but winning a map would be pretty big. So Florida Mayhem put together yet another win here in Stage 4.
Yeah. This is a great way to go out for them. I mean, I can understand frustrating looking on while other teams head in towards playoffs, but it's been an up and down year for them. To finally find a semblance of stability here, better now than not at all.
I think the stability is key going into the off-season. You want to keep these rosters together as much as possible. You want to build around them. You can't just keep hitting the reset button every year and trying to figure out what's going to work, what's going to not.
Well, I mean, and that's a great point. And Florida Mayhem underwent a huge change this season with these new players added to the roster. Byron, DPI, Karayan comes in. And that's just to name a few. This team has definitely changed a lot. And we need to see how the dust settles for the Floridians. Just a little bit pause on the stage. Looks like Byram is one of the players that might be having just a slight communication. So we'll be back with them in just a moment. And for Toronto, I mean, they make their own changes as well. You know, the face and the essence of the team does change quite a lot. I mean, you think back to when it was, players like Ivy, players like Stella that were running around in the mix.
A little I'm 37 run we had for a bit.
I mean, it was good while it lasted.
He's running it up.
That's perhaps a good example of, us and our community. I mean, running away with an idea and getting
But
a
it's
bit lost
fun.
in the sauce. Yes,
But it's fun.
It was fun. The whole season has been, in all fairness.
Potentially still have an issue here with Byram, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it looks like he's just trying to make sure he can actually hear his teammates. So he probably needs a little bit of translation on the stage, which is often a consideration. We'll be right back after a quick break. We'll get these issues ironed out. Shout out to the individual on Twitter who commented that we were eulogizing the players and coaches. Oh. There's no Googleizing going on here. They're not going anywhere. Not a Googleizer. Cast it. Out of the gates will be Florida Mayhem. The mirror to compositions. Actually, there's a demon on the side of Toronto as I say that. Ana here for Neko. Instead, Zenyatta.
This will allow Neko to play further range. Biotic grenade could be pretty devastating here. Saya player again though. Those early first picks on Hanzo. He's able to get one God to lined up. Very close to getting D-Max here. He's barely able to stay up. Florida should be able to get the cart rolling.
Florida with a different look, bit of a different roster coming out here. DPI and for Gargoyle. Roadhog looking pretty good either way. Boost me, fam, he says. I want to go to the top of Big Earls, watch the sun set.
Get up on the high ground. You have an Amp Matrix here from Chris, so if they try and push through that top, you drop down that Amp Matrix, you're going to have to put a May wall up to potentially block it. Amp Matrix field for 8 as well. Like I mentioned, Saya player every time, and all Mangachu can do on the stage is just smile. Like, man, nothing I can do about that. Just a Hanzo headshot comes on through.
He may not even have seen that coming with the way the arrow would have curved.
Sometimes when you play against Hanzo, I'm sure a lot of the players play at home can test this. It's like you see a Hanzo just jump out, and just lands a headshot, you don't even really have a chance to react sometimes. Could have been the case there.
Okay. Dragon Strike here would make it hard for the Defiant to get use out of their amplification matrix, but Saya player doesn't really see the need for it. Well, you can't really blame him. He's having to just de-suit Gods from such a safe position that Toronto Defiant just roll over and give up the point.
I think when you have a sniper who's playing this well, in Saya player on the Hanzo, getting those first pickoffs, putting down tons of burst damage onto players like Gods. It's difficult. He gets a call out that Mangachu's directly underneath him. My Mangachu's just shaking his head.
That reaction from Mangachu, he just takes a breath, leans back, shakes his head with eyes shut like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that.
Yeah, he cannot avoid Saya player today.
That is a face. Says a lot about.
Well, I think also it's so frustrating when you go up against a player like Saya player who's clicking, and you just one shot. He's got the Sonic arrow, one shot to a head, ends your entire push before it even begins. Oh, they come out the door, supercharger here for the Florida Mayhem. As
It's just shaking of heads now on the Toronto side.
Because they honestly can't get anything going because they don't have an opportunity to take a fight, because every fight starts off with the Saya player kill on an important player.
You think he'd relax a little bit for the last map? He's not Saya player. Stone Cold Killer. And Toronto need Yakpung here, one way or another. He must be present. Here's a wall. Dragon Strike doesn't care too much about the wall. Most of the Defiant are able to get out and drop down to the low ground here. That Immortality field was absolutely pivotal in that. Here's the Blizzard. Dragon Strike just forces Swan forward, which is probably where he wants to be anyway. And Saya player finally is taken down. Logix gets him and then makes it a second onto Chris. Here's a chance for Toronto to stabilize. Looks like they will.
They should be able to win this, Toronto, so they use their ultimates and the fight that they actually get, they're able to win. So you look at some of those other fights that were really just started off one off the back of early pickoffs.
Really?
No, they weren't fights. But Byram way out of position there. I don't know where he's playing. He's got Transcendence. He was off by the Mega Health pack. Could have really helped his team using that Transcendence, getting over in the Blizzard, but nowhere close, not able to get good use out of that ultimate there.
Maybe he doesn't expect the Defiant to be able to get out there. He thinks they'll perish to the Dragon Strike. But Toronto had 8. Threw down the Immortality field. Now, Saya player returns to the fight. He needs healing. Somebody. Think of Saya player.
Yeah, you better be healing Saya player. The way he's played.
Logix is really trying to challenge him here, and he has to. He's the only player that can really stand a chance of stopping him, especially on the hero. Okay, Swan's going to force the Defiant now around the outside of this building. Keep an eye on Logix though, he's still on top. Interesting, yeah, Chris! Exo boots up there to try and challenge Logix. That is, you're asking for it there.
And everybody here for Florida gets hit with a biotic grenade from Neko, so keeps him alive, but you see the difference. So when your Hanzo's getting those early advantages, you're able to rally together a few team fights. You don't have to be as invest heavy in some of the ultimate fights.
This is a great stabilization by Toronto now. 2 fights in a row they've won. Look at the ult bank they've got. And honestly, with only 90 seconds left, Florida have to make some tough decisions.
They're looking at setting a really good defensive stand here for the Toronto Defiant. You do have this Amp Matrix. Maybe you're worried a little bit about your Transcendence use if you're Byram with the biotic grenades that can come through, but you would have loved it when that last Blizzard was happening, but
not again.
Pikachu gets picked off early here.
Mate, he's laughing. He's like, okay.
Yeah, the face on of like, you know, you just get hit by a ridiculous shot. Like, you just kind of like,
yeah, you're like scoffing. You're like, okay, whatever. Gods. Oh, frozen inside? No, he's outside the Dragon Strike there. So Logix goes tumbling from the top. Saya player now has established that high ground position and a degree of dominance over his opponent DPS. I like this though from Magnitude. You've got to take the challenge. Gets the wall up there. Doesn't really connect enough though. 1 arrow, 2 arrows, 3 arrows, and that's enough. Once more, Magnitude's down. I mean, yeah, we're talking a lot about how he's reacting, but I guess he's just the kind of guy where it's written on his face a bit more. Not happy, Jan.
I also think it's the face of every player who goes up against a Hanzo who's just really putting in work. That'll be a point B take for the Florida Mayhem. Both support ultimates available for both teams here. Byram has not had a good chance to use his Transcendence. Like, what is he going to wait for the next Blizzard that comes through? Like,
probably. Double Blizzards now. Oh my. Look at all the frozen players. Great wall from Magnitude. He pops out of his ice pocket just the right time so he doesn't die into the Blizzard or get frozen, and he keeps his team up. That was really good. Unfortunately, it's not enough here. Not even close. Logix just got blown up by Byram. And the biotic grenade hits true from Neko, but still, it's way too late in the day for that.
Yeah, the payload will continue to roll here for the Florida Mayhem. Going to have a supercharger here towards the end. A lot of extra damage. They're going to try and sit up on the high ground. Now, the Toronto Defiant, they don't have any ultimates. You could just kind of put a few players on the cart and roll on through. Is another first blood here for the Florida Mayhem.
Magnitude. Fortunately, he has 8 deaths right now. He's been focused hard. The next closest is 4. Again, it just seems like they're able to spot the Florida Mayhem, and use Saya player to eliminate her early. Okay, wall off. That makes it harder for Chris. He'll exo boot over the top of that, though. BQB holding the closer angle. He's the one that's trying to guide this payload in. Halted. Nice block. Sire player getting a lot of ult charge from that last Storm Arrow volley. Surely it's got to be time. Dragon strike to the payload now, trying to cut off any chance of retreat from the Toronto Defiant. Logix is down again. Sire player finds his mark. Immortality field down, and now the Florida Mayhem kick it up yet another notch. Blizzard on the point, Supercharger taken down. And Toronto, great hold on the second part of the map, but they're gonna make it easier for themselves in the first and third sections. Florida get what they came for. They get the map finish.
Yeah, Toronto had an opportunity to stop them from taking point B. Starting to put together a good defense, but Florida able to come on towards the end. They do have 2.5 seconds in the time bank, so they do finish with time, not in OT. So now we'll get to see what the Toronto Defiant want to do on offense. Do you want to play a Widowmaker? Do you want to play a Hanzo here? You do have some options.
We need to know is that if Toronto finish the map, then there will be a time increase given to them. Finishing in overtime, not as important on purely escort maps. Definitely important when it comes to hybrid ones. All it means is that the main will get to go again if their opponents can finish. Now, we have seen these two teams kind of have some defensive troubles, but in the long game, over an aggregate of team fights, Florida seemed to be quite solid on defense. You saw the hold they put together on Blizzard World. You saw Hanamura, once Florida were able to not get hooked at the start of the fight. They got the full hold on point A. They look quite good between both offense and defense. Toronto struggle defensively.
Let's see what Florida decides to do on defense. Do they want to play a close like?
They're going to run Batiste Zen instead of the Ana Batiste.
So they get a little bit of extra damage here with this end. They ran the Ana, did Toronto on defense, because making good use of those biotic grenades, especially if they try and use the Transcendence to block off the Blizzard. So the thumbs up there from DPI. He knows it's all good here.
Great chance for him. Show what he's got on the Roadhog. Very mechanically attack the character. But hey. Hook, BQB. Yeah, enough damage there for Gods. Great start for Toronto. Otherwise, they could be stuck in this run for quite some time. Jackal was able to get the shield up just in time. Sire player for long range though gets rid of Gods. 8 actually had the application matrix up. That's 2 for Sire player. He'll look for more now. Swan just tries to wait out the cooldown, stays alive. Sire player, that's pretty darn nice from him.
Mangachu connects with a long-range shot in Sire player, so that'll be a full wipe in favor of the Toronto Defiant, as now they start to get the cart moving. It's a big Hulk hook, sets it up at the beginning. Take out BQB, no Maywall in play for Florida, so Toronto not going to opt to boost up to the high ground here. They're going to play with extra players on the cart, trying to get more cart progress.
Also keep more people around the Orisa. It's just safer for them now. No one's really feeling like a maverick. I won't say it the way that Johnny pronounces it. Yakpung down though. Man, they have to keep that Orisa alive. That's why they're playing around it.
Yeah, but that's like if you have the opportunity to take high ground, like we saw Florida do, why not just take it? Like,
get Hanzo up there at least.
Right. Like it just allows like Mangachu and Logix to be in such better positions to do their jobs. Sure, I know you want to move the cart, you want to make progress.
Oh, Neko thought he was going to win that.
Now it stops even more. The cart will actually roll further back.
DPI, it's Roadhog Day. For Toronto, it's Groundhog Day. Back to spawn, back to the drawing board. They feel like they've been here before.
You're getting close to having 6 ultimates available here for the Florida Mayhem.
Around the hairpin now. Dragon Strike not far off for Logix here. He's got a good angle, but again, Yakpung's taken out early. Storm Arrow breaks the shield and breaks through Orisa. I mean, Toronto probably just see, why not we just commit to this one? See if we can get a little bit more for our trouble, but losing Gods now as well, they have to back up.
Yeah, you get in a tough spot where you lose Neko at the beginning of one fight. No, you lose Yakpung at the beginning of this one. You're running out of time, you want to make something happen, but to just constantly just run in there and feed is not the answer. Like, you have to back up, you have to give up some of the clock. This is going to be a fight that determines whether we see much more of the offense of Toronto or not. Is both teams, 6 ultimates. Who will get the best of this? Is
Again, that's Quite a few fights now that Yakpung has gone down first.
This is
Toronto knows.
three fights in a row. Yeah, not obviously Yakpung, but you've lost Neko in one, and then Yakpung back-to-back. And this has gone from having about 2 minutes on the clock to being at 50 seconds.
And Logic's, I mean, you can't very well ask him to go and challenge Sire in the 1v1 to try and get his pressure off. Like, that's not reasonable. Then hook from Gods. Doesn't quite find BQB, but after it gets out of the ice block, they do get him. It's got to be a Transcendence here now. Whole also being used from the Florida Mayhem. They're just letting it all go, man. Throwing everything at them. With Sire player down now, the Toronto Defiant can work their way in, and they even have some ultimates.
And Florida has to back up. They need to allow BQB to get back in the fight. He will have Blizzard. As no Transcendence available for the Toronto Defiant. They used it to weather the storm of the Dragon Strike. Sire player, and no Diva to eat it either.
BQB high ground now. Supercharger, Blizzard from both teams, in fact. Oh man, a lot of Florida got caught by that DPI and Chris, but Byram's there with the Transcendence. That's one thing that the Defiant do not have. Doesn't seem to bother them though. They get Chris to start the fight. God's around the corner now with the whole hold. Logic's caught though. Byram gets him with a melee attack. And DPI, is he seriously going to walk away from this one? No, Discord Orb will confirm it for Gods. Now looking to try and chase Sire player. He knows what a menace this guy can be late in the fight. Oh, he's slippery indeed. Byram down now at Swan, the last player to hold the fort here. The Defiant realize that they push forward, push him off the point, and they should have this checkpoint here. They should be able to keep this going, but the Defiant, not much hope left for them here for the map. They must push on anyway.
Toronto will take point A. Is got really scary there towards the end, but they did a good job of using those ultimates. They push up, they're trying to get some of these players, not allow them to get back with the rest of the teams. Hook came in there on a BQB, but broke line of sight there with Gone, so the hook will get interrupted. This will allow the Florida Mayhem to get back to full strength.
2 minutes and counting now. It will be Aid escorting the payload around. And this is good. Toronto were kind of reluctant to take the high ground on Big Earls the first time they got around the corner. This time, though, they want to be up there. Logix is going to, I guess, just deter any potential flank with their Dragon Strike. But, I mean, it comes through. Florida waited out, and now they can do what they were originally intending to do. Logix wants to take this battle now. Though Sire player has no healers near him, but the rest of his team might need some extra help, and it might be too late for him even to intervene. Locked in that 1v1 duel. Logix needs to be able to be left free to take that fight, but his team couldn't hold up under scrutiny from the rest of the Mayhem.
Yes, Florida wrapped back around by the Mega Health Pack, and they took a fight underneath the bridge. They used their Amp Matrix. Just caught Toronto out in the open. So, yet again, Toronto's going to be put with their backs against the wall here. One fight with some ultimates here. Cannot allow Sire player or anybody to get a pick. That's a big one, though. Logix is able to stay alive, lands a headshot on the Sire player.
Payload is a long way away from Toronto, though. There should be enough time for Sire player to return. Logix needs to get max value out of this high ground position. He abdicates it in order to try and find the mate. Back up now again. Oh my gosh, just a bunch of players. Pick your poison for Logix. And that's a great shot on BQB now. This is what Toronto need. And honestly, finishing the map now becomes a little bit more likely, but they need to do it in this fight. The payload's going to sail home, match. Should be pretty comfortable. Nicely done by Toronto.
This is Chris and DPI. Will end up falling here towards the end. So the Toronto Defiant starting to march closer towards completing the map. They're going to have 5 ultimates. Supercharger was used in that previous fight from Swan, but it was a nice hold the hook that comes through. Be able to take him out. You really can't get anything else. I mean, no kills gotten with that Supercharger in that last fight.
Uncommon to see that, isn't it? Toronto Supercharger now. Gods was hooked in, but the wall was up. Looking for the whole hook, but Swan was fortified. Magnitude and Logix just firing shots into the rest of the Mayhem as they try and filter through a very small room. And I said that hope for finishing the map maybe it wasn't good, but Toronto have been very expedient over their last couple of stages. So now they're going to have a minute left with this next fight to begin.
Well, Blizzards for both teams, Transcendence as well for both sides. DPI going to go over to the Diva, potentially trying to eat this Blizzard that comes through.
The Hulk, the Dragon Strike, the Blizzard, it's all there. It's a veritable emporium of ultimates with the Transcendence. Great timing from Neko. 1-for-1 trade. Logix is down. Sire player started the fight up well, but he's hooked in. Mangachu's Blizzard. It's gone. But he makes up for it. Gets rid of Sire player. Swan's still healthy on the point, puts another barrier down. Yakpung, though, discorded. Holt comes in and Chris gets pulled into the mix of the Defiant players, and now Florida are in stall mode. BQB comes out on the Doomfist now. Pressured though, great work from Neko to make sure he didn't have any room to breathe. And now Logic switching over towards the Widowmaker. Toronto want to finish, they want the finish bad. Tire player from the doorway. Toronto get the map done. They keep themselves alive. A chance to take Route 66.
They barely get the payload over the line. I believe they finish in OT here. So you'll have Toronto with about a minute on the clock, Florida with minute 20. We'll be back with overtime after this.
More Route 66 to be played, and Toronto have a lead on Time Bank, having about 25 seconds when they finish that last map, and honestly, they sailed through the second and third stage. It's nice to see them turn it on. I wouldn't say when it really counts, because obviously the series is already lost to them, but hey, a map here.
Oh, you want to get a map on
it's
the board.
It's a consolation.
Nobody wants to get 4-0'd.
Finish on a high.
Map. Yeah, finish on a little bit of a high.
This way, both teams kind of get to finish on a bit of a high.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but you know, it is a high note for Toronto. As this has been a rough series against
I am paid to embellish details sometimes.
A tough Mayhem team. But positive for Toronto is you have more time in the bank. So let's see if they can put together a good hold here. Potentially not let the Florida Mayhem even take point A.
Look at Logic's ult percent compared to Sire players.
Oh, real nice.
You'll have to see it. We'll see now as this is pretty cursory, to be honest. The Hanzo's fire arrows in, the Maze fire icicles, and they wait for a hold, hook, and they get Swan.
30 seconds remaining.
May have to back up. Ready at 30 seconds.
Many shots to be taken here. Logic's just shooting into the enemy spawn now. Florida have one more chance, really. Win this fight, they'll be in overtime. Have 6 to the payload then.
And Matrix available. Have to touch here. Toronto may still AWOL to block it off.
They have to, yeah, they're waiting for a shield cooldown and then they'll go. Oh, Swan? That's it. Okay, they have to stay close enough to contest here. They're going to use BQB for that purpose, and they get Yakpung in overtime. That's when the push is going to happen, I guess. Nice little clean up there, Florida. Just when it counts, come up with the goods.
Maybe Yakpung did not expect them to have that Amp Matrix right behind the May wall, but he ends up getting taken out right away. So the cart will go. We are in overtime. This time, Florida Mayhem will lead their first offensive push. They will take high ground here. They will have Byra move the card alone.
I mean, there's potential, Matt. We've seen it. We've seen teams always be able to finish this entire map on overtime and more. Junkertown, we've seen it this week already. Do not count it out.
You cannot allow Saya player to get a pick off here.
I mean, he does this last time as well, Matt. He sits in this corner. No one can get eyes on him. I mean, what's Logic's going to do about this spot? Saya player offers mercy by backing up. Dragon Strike, it does get that overtime wick burning down, but not enough, and the Florida Mayhem to drop back onto the card. Oh, that's a pick. Byron now goes for the Blizzard. Transcendent, sorry, Blizzard over on the point. 8 actually goes down to that one, BQB 2. He's got so many people inside of it. Yakpung now as well. And risking being another casualty to the Frozen Winds. And even the whole hog out from Gods is not going to get it done. And this is not a good sign for Toronto. They've given up a checkpoint here to Florida in overtime.
Florida is making the plays.
Making the moves.
Making the moves. As they are bringing the mayhem here. Potentially trying to make a run. There are a few woos in the crowd. But they are potentially trying to make a run. Complete the map. See though, Toronto, they end up using a lot of these ultimates. Mind you, Toronto was ahead in the time banks before this overtime began. So.
It's Dragon time. Mortality field thrown on the high ground, but it's not present now. They've dropped down. Logic's Dragon looks good.
Yeah.
All right, BQB's down a player advantage here for Toronto. Can they leverage it? Amplification Matrix in their face, and DPI comes through with the whole hog. Even from long range, that whole hog hits that much harder now with Batiste ult. And Toronto have to back up. They don't have the numbers to contest this right now. The overtime push continues. Consider the Mayhem brawl.
A big advantage, though, for the Toronto Defiant in the next fight. You'll have Supercharger, Transcendence, and Amp Matrix. Loads of damage, all the healing from the Zen ultimate. You have to be able to win this next fight if you're Toronto.
Payload close. Hook in. Oh, okay, DPI tries to yank to the right, get extra pull. They get on a checkpoint, Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, you can't come out and just challenge. Like, if you were to lose gods, then maybe you use another ultimate.
It gets even more out of control.
It gets even worse.
Oh, why can't I hold all these checkpoints?
Mangachu gets halted, I believe, there into orbs from Byram. Nice Maywall to block off the Amp Matrix that Aid puts down. Supercharger here as well as
big volleys. God's in trouble. Transcendence has to be used. Supercharger now. Byram gets the later Transcendence. That bodes well for the Mayhem. Holt over the top of that shield. And who's on a flank? Is Neck on a sideshow flank right now? I think it might be. He got rid of Swan Supercharger. Blizzard thrown in. Oh man, it's tough to get away from this one.
That is a close quarter. Blizzard there.
Struggling. And the Mayhem. Turning it up a notch, baby.
They're gonna do this. What seemed like it could have been impossible is looking very possible here. As Amp Matrix, Whole Hog, Dragon Strike changes come in here for Toronto. As Aid comes out on Lucio, he gets picked off right away. The Whole Hog comes in.
Matrix, back through. Firefly catches Logic today. Done it. Where were you when the Mayhem was brought? That's a overtime finish on Route 66, and the Defiant will be hard-pressed to match that. But you know what?
I want to see them do it. A minute and 20 on the clock. I want to see them get all the way to the end. I want to see a run back here on Route 66. Can be done. The Toronto Defiant have more time.
Does anyone have a polygraph right now?
They have more time. They have more time in the time bank than what Florida started with. It is possible. You get a few good pickoffs from your Hanzo, wow, you're in play.
Matt makes a very astute observation by subtracting one number from another.
Look, it's like I pay to do.
Mangachu at least now has a chance to go big or go home, essentially. Get a map finish here. And
man, everything that could have went right for Florida there did.
Yep. The picks at the start of the fights, especially that last little engagement, the wall was so good. Sire player is able to fire storm arrows through an amplification matrix, and you're not aiming for anyone, but it doesn't matter because whoever you hit is probably going to die. That's how the Hanzo worked in that part of the map. Minute 20.
Florida will play really close. Toronto has to win one of these early fights really clean to get the cart rolling, buy themselves some space. Really, I mean, with a minute 20, all kind of jokes aside, you're really in an overtime push from the start.
Yeah. I mean, most teams are able to hold here for at least 1 minute, unless things go really wrong early, like an early pick, but we see that hasn't happened. There's the Holt. No pick off that. So, yeah, this becomes kind of harder for Toronto. They had to grind. Well, I mean, that's been a theme, Matt. That losing Yakpung early has absolutely been a thing.
It's been tough. I mean, Yakpung with 14 deaths, Mangachu with 17. That's been rough. You've lost a lot of these players early on in some of these fights. And albeit, there are two players that are playing towards the front line with the Halt Hook combos and Maywalls coming into play. It's very, it's not surprising that those are players with some of the highest stats in the game. Same thing really for the Florida Mayhem, is Swan at 9 and the BQB 12.
Logix takes over the train car, trying to deny the Mayhem this safe spot to play from. It just doesn't matter. Florida, we're all over the top of Mangachu and Godson. This puts them now down to the 22nd mark. Logix is just going to try and see if he can hit anything at this point. That is a resounding NO. No go back.
You have a Dragon Supercharger here. Logic's not able to make it back towards the spawn.
Fire him over the top, sends in a volley. The Mayhem get a little bit more aggressive now. They think maybe we can finish this right here. Fire him as a Transcendence as the Dragon Strike sailing on through. They're trying to keep the Defiant off the payload, but Gods gets there, getting rid of DPI. Byram now opts to play a little safer, and Logix gets rid of Chris. Looks like the Defiant will have a shot.
This is the run. The cart is moving. You have some, you kind of joke, you have some ultimates here available for Toronto to make it happen. You're going to have almost all 6 available to at least get you through this first checkpoint. You still have a ways to go, though. I mean, They should be able to get this, though.
9 points is the highest combined score on Route 66.
Oh, we're going to get there. We're going to get past it.
Oh, baby. Luggish gets one. That's how you want to start this one off.
We're gonna get past this. Toronto's going to get this point. Florida is going to back up here. You just use your Dragon to get that done. This allows you to hold on to Supercharger where it comes online. Your Blizzard as well. Both support ultimates. Florida is backed up all the way to their hut. They're gonna let point A be taken here, as they probably want to go for a close defense once these doors open. So that'll be your record. 10 points out, taken.
The longest Route 66 ever. I'm not feeling it at all. And this also denies the Defiant the chance to get that high ground if you play a little closer, but actually, Swan relocates here. They were actually playing closer to the choke. Maybe they're trying to take Toronto by surprise. Yeah, quick supercharger, try and just appear in a flash.
Well, that is the supercharger from Toronto. So you're going to have to hide here if you're Florida. That'll be the amp matrix from both teams. Transcendence going to be used here by Neko to keep everybody up through that. You're not going to have it now for this Blizzard, though.
We got windows, we got walls. Who's about to get low? It's going to be a Blizzard thrown in. BQB, great connection, but Neko picks him off. Got an 8, a frozen solid. And S1 and DPI play around the barrier. Overtime still ticking on, but Toronto will not be stopped. It's only Saya play to find a kill thus far.
They're going to do it.
So many ultimates get spent on this fight. Toronto.
All right, let's keep it going.
Oh, man.
Toronto, they're able to win that fight. The Blizzard comes through, but BQB gets picked off from Neko right away. As you do have this, you do have Supercharger plus Whole Hog here for the Florida Mayhem. Potentially move players off of the car.
Aid cannot leave the car for any reason whatsoever. Even if he accidentally fat fingers his exo boots, the round would end.
Does have immortality field if they try and move him off.
They can still shunt him away.
An early pickoff would be huge. Logic's playing up top behind
that wall.
Florida.
What a great wall. It lets the Florida Mayhem get out and start the fight here. Keep an eye on players around the payload. They need to stay close. Chris Frozen Magnitude gets him with a quick ice spike before it's over, but Aid goes down to Sire players. Dragon Strike. Magnitude wants to work around this left-hand side, but this time it looks like the Mayhem are coming up with the goods. DPI in with the whole hog, and Magnitude is Discord, and there's no chance, no hope. And that'll be it. The Florida Mayhem clean up our longest Route 66 to date. And they get a clean sheet in the series, 4-0. But in all fairness, at least, the Defiant got plenty of stage time in their last match of the season.
I think for Toronto, you have some new players here towards the end of the year that you're really excited about going into next year. They have themselves a very good season one in terms of, their stage one fall off a little bit towards the middle, but a lot to be excited about for Toronto and for Florida. Now, last year was a tough one for Florida. This year, tough for the first 3 stages, but you put together a very good stage 4. With 2-2-2 in the future as well. You look to be a team that can make some runs as, the hair for gods. Would have been different if he would have worn it today during the match.
Took it off though. He kind of didn't want to follow up on it. But yeah, there's no, like I said before, there's no Googleizing going on here. For these two teams looking forward to 2020, I'm sure there's changes to be made. But hey, we'll look forward to seeing them again soon. We're going to head down now to the stage with Mika and the interview with Saya Play.
Thanks, guys. I got Saya Play here, and I don't speak Korean, so we got a little help here so we could do an awesome post-game interview. First of all, congratulations. This was your last match of the season, and you took home a win. What was it like playing against your old teammate, Logix?
네, 안녕하세요. 사야 플레이어 선수 우선 승리를 축하드립니다. 오늘이 또 마지막 시즌, 이번 시즌 마지막 게임을 이렇게 치르게 되셨는데 로직스 선수 전 팀 멤버 상대로 어떤 기분 드셨는지 한번 말씀해 주세요.
네, 저번에도 붙었었고요. 로직스 선수랑 같은 팀을 했었던 만큼 되게 기분이 이상하면서도 되게 흥분도 되고 뭔가 씁쓸하기도 하고 그런 감정이었는데 또 이렇게 적으로 만나서 붙을 수 있다는 것도 아주 좋은 경험이었던 것 같습니다.
So I actually played against him last time as well. We were in the same team last year. The feeling that I had while I was playing game was sort of weird, bittersweet, all those memories that I had with him. And then it was actually, I was very happy to play against him. And then we took a victory, so thank you very much.
Oh, that's sweet. And you guys are finishing out your season here, and this is your second season in the Overwatch League. But I gotta know, what are you looking forward to in 2020?
네, 이제 정우 선수 2년차 오버워치 선수로서 리그에서 이제 마무리를 하셨는데 내년 시즌 이제 2020년 시즌 3를 이렇게 준비하시는 거에 대해서 어떤 기대 가지고 계신지 그리고 어떻게 준비하실 것인지 말씀해 주시면 감사드리겠습니다.
네, 저희가 뭐 2019년 시즌 2를 시작했을 때는 좀 합이 안 맞고 되게 안 좋은 모습을 많이 보였는데 뭐 마지막 같은 경우에는 합을 좀 올려서 뭐 팀적으로 좀 완벽하진 않지만 네, 뭐 좀 완성된 모습을 보여드렸는데 뭐 내년에도 이거를 바탕으로 좀 더 네, 좋은 모습을 보여드릴 수 있을 것 같아요. 네.
So in the beginning of 2009 season 2, we really had a rough time in terms of our synergy wasn't working really good. But after we working as all together as a team, we try to show our effort and the perfection of how we can perform on the stage. And then I was very glad that we were able to show. So based on our experience for the last stage, we'll do our best in season 3, 2020. And then thank you.
Absolutely. I know we all look forward to seeing the Florida Mayhem next year in 2020. And oh my goodness, I'm glad Danny didn't see all of the players holding the mics here today. He would be so disappointed in me. But that's all we have down here. Back to you, Mitch and Matt.
Thank you very much, Mika. And one thing I've learned in my stage hosting experience, only you can control your mic. The rest, well, that's up to everyone else. And I tell you what, talking about who had control of that game, it was definitely Florida for most of it. That was one of our longest maps. We saw it towards the end there. But let's talk about our player of the match, presented by Omen by HP, Hagopun.
It's your boy.
Look, man, what a great series from him. I mean, he has had moments that have just been unbelievable, whether on this team or even prior on the London Spitfire. But this match, his Zenyatta play was ferocious.
Zenyatta was good. The Moira, putting down the damage, being able to keep the healing numbers high. Didn't have to play at the end of the series. They sell them out, but you still end up getting the win. But Hagopun, very important part of this Florida Mayhem team going forward.
Yep. Look at some of the statistics here from over the course of the series. His Moira definitely over those first couple of maps was important. We saw it on Blizzard World come out. Just a ton of final blows. Like
18 call assist kills.
Yeah, and then his Zenyatta, he just a ton of picks on his own. He was creating these first picks, pressuring Yakfung down, making it hard for the Orisa to hang around with Discord Orb. It's not easy out there when you are suffering from Zen pressure. Pleasure to see these two teams on the stage here in our 2019 season. And can't wait to see more of them as they move to their home markets coming up next year. But hey, next match, a team who's very much in the conversation here. The Guangzhou Charge are looking incredible here in stage 4. The Dallas Fuel also a bit of a swan song for them. Some more chance to get out on stage and show themselves. We'll see which Dallas we get right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.